Just why Russia is struggling so much in this war. The war has been going on for 3 months already, and before February 24th, almost everyone thought that Russia has one of the strongest armies. People thought that Ukraine didn't stand any single chance, but now 90 days later, we see that Russia is almost not advancing at all. In fact, Ukrainians push Russian army further and further away from its territories and even launch counterattacks on Russian land. What's up, investors? It's the Russian Dude, and today I want to share with you my personal opinion why I think this Russian special military operation has failed so far. So it all started February 24th. For the first week of tour, Russian army was almost unstoppable. It was able to capture the east, south and north of Ukraine with little to no resistance. And the main reason for this, it's the element of surprise. Just a couple of days before the invasion, Russia even started departing from the borders with Ukraine. And no one could have seen that just several days later they will turn around and launch full-scale attack. And guess what? This was the surprise not just for Ukrainians and the rest of the world. Russians themselves did not expect this at all, besides obviously some higher government officials and generals. So I mean, just imagine this. Regular Russian soldiers and conscripts, they went to bed on February 23rd, thinking that they will just have another routine day tomorrow. When in the middle of the night they were awakened and literally rushed into trucks and other vehicles, which later sent them to Ukraine. Some soldiers didn't even know what was going on, because you know this feeling when you just wake up and you are still like half asleep. And so whenever somebody tells you to do something, you just do it without questioning, especially when you're in the army. The mobilization was so quick and unexpected that some soldiers couldn't even get their personal belongings, such as for example phones. And because of this, their families didn't even know if their kids were one of these soldiers who were already fighting in Ukraine. So the first days of this war were relatively successful for Russia. It was announced to the leadership that fighting Ukraine will be easy, and that is why the expectations were pretty low. Putin probably expected that fulfilling his goals will take like no longer than just a couple of weeks. But as soon as Ukrainians came to their senses and realized that there is a full-scale invasion against their homeland, the turning point in this war has started to take place. Many Ukrainian men decided to volunteer for the army. And I mean, I have an uncle in Ukraine who I constantly refer to in my videos, and yes, he is real, and he shares with me this information from time to time. So he said that almost every single one of his friends wanted to protect their country. There was so many volunteers before him that he was asked several times by the enlistment office to come back later. But actually he never got enlisted because he's already in his like mid-late 50s. And the army was obviously prioritizing younger guys at that moment. So this urgent mobilization ended even before my uncle was able to be enlisted. Most likely it is because Ukraine got enough volunteers at that point, so they just decided to pause the mobilization. And as you can see it right now, indeed, Ukraine has more than enough soldiers to resist and even push back the Russian army. And now to the main point of the video. Why would so many Ukrainian men volunteer to go to this war? And the answer is rather simple. Imagine your own country, your own city, where you were born, where you went to school and you're playing with your friends as a kid. What if one day another country who is constantly arguing with you decides to destroy it all? Wouldn't you want to protect your land? Wouldn't you want to protect your friends and relatives? And wouldn't you want to protect your memories? Would you just let them destroy your very first school and kill your very first teacher? Or in the worst case scenario, would you let them kill your parents or kids? And of course, I mean, no way you would do anything to prevent this from happening. And that is why precisely the mobilization and morale of Ukrainians since the beginning of this war has been incredibly high. They have been fighting for things they cherish the most, for things they love and adore, and for things they can actually see and touch. Because on the other hand, I have Russian soldiers who are literally awakened in the middle of the night and sent to another country, fighting for unclear goals and fulfilling the orders of officials and generals who have they probably never seen in their lives. If Russians can't win some battles, most of their risking is to be scolded by their officers. But if Ukrainians lose the same battles, they are risking losing something they can never get back. There is simply no way Ukrainians will give up their cities and towns without showing proper resistance. It is literally all or nothing for them in the highest meaning of this phrase. While Russians can afford fighting with no full dedication, because there is literally nothing physical any particular soldier gets from capturing any lands. If Russian soldiers fulfill orders of their generals, the result is simply a paperwork and report to even higher officials, basically that the mission was accomplished. So as you can see, there are no clear benefits for just regular soldiers. And because of this, the motivation and morale are at extremely low levels, especially after Russians met powerful resistance from Ukrainians. And as you can see already at this very moment, it is not just about how powerful your weapons are. It is mostly about how motivated your people are. And more Russian soldiers realize this every single day. And that is why Russia is struggling so much to win in this war.